Miss Rachel.
Hello, Skylar. Hello, everybody. Hi, Luca. Hi, Mariah. Hi.
Your brother's getting changed.
All right, you might want to turn your camera off then. Hello, Rihanna.
He's not in here.
Oh, okay. That's okay then.
He's in his bedroom.
That's good. That's a good place for him to be. All right. Hi, Darius. Hello, Miss Nicole. Hi, Landon. Hello, Olivia. Hello, Miss Maya. Hi, Andrew.
Miss Rachel, I have a lot of two-piece Legos, a lot. So I'm trying to fill this green piece. It looks blue in the camera.
That's awesome. All right. Hello, Kinsey. Hello, Weston. Hi, Caleb. All right. Beatrice, I love those glasses. They're so cute. I have to get new glasses and I can't pick frames. I'm having a hard time with it. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll do our announcements really fast and we'll get started. So everyone knows we have our simulcast classes going on. Let me see if this lighting's kind of weird, so if you can see my face. Okay, we have our simulcast classes going on. So our full schedule is in the studio and virtual. Parents are not coming into the studio yet, but you can watch class on Facebook Live from your vehicle. Everyone has been great about following our new safety procedures, our current safety procedures. Those are not going to be in place forever. Let's see, we are in the Philippines this week. Make sure you pick up your passport, get your 2 classes in, get your passport marked by your parents. Next week, we're in South Korea. So Tong Sudo, which is our style, is South Korean. So we will still have a new booklet that I will email and post on the Facebook group so you can print it out or you can pick it up in the studio. But the style of karate that we're going to do is Tong Sudo, which we already practiced. So next week's not going to be too different. We are counting in Korean. Weird. I think everyone here knows how to count to 10 in Korean. So you'll be good on that one. Make sure you still practice how to count in the Philippines. We were talking about this in Black Belt class. I would love, my goal is for all of us, for myself and for all of you guys, to be able to count to 10 in all of these languages and actually remember it. So if you come to 2 classes in a week and that's the only time you ever count to 10 in Tagalog, you're never going to remember it again, right? But if we this week learn to count to 10 and then next week we practice counting to 10 in Tagalog and then we count in Korean, which we already know. And then the next week, I don't remember what the next one is, but say it's Japan. We practice counting from each country we go to. Every week we build on it. So that way by the end of the summer, everybody remembers how to count all the languages. So try to practice it at home. And okay, this entire month, Dad's Train free. So the instructors are gonna be like, hey, if your dad's home, go grab him, have him take class with you. We do have a really special self-defense class. Saturday, June 20th, Mr. Lionel's teaching that. It's at noon. It's going to be virtual or in the studio. You do have to pre-register. That's open to anybody. So you guys can invite your friends. Get a bunch of your friends to get on class with you. Get their dads to take it with them too. And have fun. It's going to be a fun class, a fun workout. It's going to be something different, some self-defense skills. So I hope you guys all sign up for that and have fun with that. Tomorrow, we don't have Mat Chat because it's Friday, but we do have our gold meeting. And all of you guys can give some input because we're talking about success skills this month. And so I am going to review the 7 habits with everybody in addition to some other success skills. But really, if you look at any kind of book about success skills, pretty much any success skill could be categorized under one of the 7 habits. If you think about it, because time management is a big success skill, right? But we talked about that when we talked about put first things first. And so there's a lot of different things that go into success, but I think that the 7 habits, and we're covering those in depth in these Mat Chats, which is awesome. But in the Mat Chat, it's going to be a little bit more of an overview for that. So anyways, we're talking about success skills. Their sparring seminar is that's at 5:45, and that's on Zoom. Sparring seminar is at 6:45. That one is on Zoom still. Miss Maya's teaching it geared towards the Zoom. Luca, I'm muting you, bud. It's going to be geared towards virtual training. So still working on technique and skill and cardio and that kind of thing. And then once we, and then you can sign up. If, I think it's 20 people can come into the studio and take it there. So you do have to be pre-registered to take it in the studio. If you're not on the list and it's full, you won't be able to come inside. But taking it online, it's going to be kind of the same thing. I do think that what we're going to do for next month for the sparring seminar, I just put together the calendar for July. I have to like proof it and everything before I share it with everybody. But I think what we're going to do for the sparring seminar and for the breaking seminar next month, just so you guys have a heads up, we are going to do them in the studio. And I think we are going to do sparring with a partner. Now it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do 3 different seminars on a Saturday. You'll have the same partner the whole time. If you're not comfortable with working with a partner yet, you can take the class online just like you can now. So, so for the people who are comfortable with working with a partner, great, we'll have that. We'll still have the virtual option for anybody who's not. So just so you guys have a heads up, I think we're going to do that for the sparring seminar. Board breaking, kind of the same thing. We're going to split it into 3 different seminars so that the classes are smaller, and we can still practice social distancing as much as possible. But we are going to do the board breaking seminar so that we can actually hold boards and break and things like that. Now, with breaking boards, if someone's holding a board for you, you're within 6 feet. So again, it's kind of the same concept of you can come in and do it there if you're comfortable being within within that 6 feet range with somebody. And if you're not, then you definitely have the option to stay home and do it virtually. So we'll still keep those options. Even as we, we're not going to stay, the same parameters that we have right now are not going to be here forever. Our first priority is keeping everybody safe, but we do want to get back to training and make sure everyone stays on track. We have, our next test is in August, and I want for everyone to be able to spar and break on that test, a little more so than we did this last time. Okay, so that is a little input there. I'm going to, we have to end exactly at 12 o'clock today. So I'm gonna jump in and do stars. Who has character building sheets to turn in today? Who has character building sheets to turn in today? Landon does. How many do you have, Landon?
4.
4. Very good. Which ones are they?
Character building #1 companion sheet. Karate homework. Building a character 3.
Very good. Good job. All right. And then I think the only other one I see is Miss Rylan. Rylan, did you do your booklet?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And so you get a star for doing the booklet. Did anybody else do one in your family?
Yes.
They already turned theirs in.
They already did. All right. Perfect. Good job, Rylan. All right. And Miss Emily. And I think that's the last one I see. Emily, how many do you have?
Me and Amber both have 7, and it was the Black Belt Excellence character building sheet 6.
Good. Great job, you guys. All right, Mr. Luca. I see you're holding some up. How many do you have, Mr. Luca?
1 star for the book.
Okay, 1, right? For book club. Very good. Good job, Luca. Okay, if anybody else had one that I missed, go ahead and unmute yourself and say something now. The other thing that we have, let's see, was the homework. What did I ask you guys to do for your homework? Oh, I almost forgot. Write down, yes, Miss Nicole's got it. Write down 3 relationships that are very important to you, and write 2 ways that you can add to the emotional piggy bank of each of those relationships. Who did that homework? Kinsey did. Very good, Kinsey. So you're going to get a star. Do you want to share? Why don't you share one of the ways that you could add to one of those relationships?
I wasn't sure how specific you wanted it, so I said daughter. And then adding to the emotional bank account would be like not having an attitude for like a long time and doing extra chores and stuff.
Absolutely. Good. And that's one thing, especially as a teenager, and this was something that that I think was one of my strengths as a teenager. I didn't argue with my parents a lot, and so I had a little bit of more freedom. And I think this is very true. And all the parents on here, I'm sure you'll agree with me. With teenagers, especially now, with younger kids, it's true too. But especially with teenagers, when they're respectful and they're kind and they're helpful and they're doing the right things and they're getting the right grades, when they ask to have a sleepover on a school night, which seems like, this big crazy thing, a lot of times you're more likely to say yes when the student is doing all of the right and adding to that emotional piggy bank. So for kids, when you are being respectful to your parents, not talking back, not arguing, being grateful, being kind, being helpful, all of those things, every time you do something like that, you are adding to the emotional piggy bank. So when you make a withdrawal, when you ask your parents if you can get this new thing, or you can go to this event, or you can do this thing, whatever it is, if you have that built up, you're a lot more likely to be able to make that withdrawal. I think that's very important for all kids to understand. And that's true in any relationship where you have someone of authority over you. So your teacher at school, your parents, your boss, anything like that. If you've built up this strong emotional piggy bank, you have more flexibility, more freedom because of that. Okay. Who else did the homework? Miss Nicole did. Good. Miss Nicole, do you want to share one of yours?
I'll share the instructor one since it's less personal than the other ones.
Okay.
So I would think to add to the emotional piggy bank as an instructor, I could give more compliments, because I do feel like I do look for what you could fix more often, so more compliments, and then also taking more interest and time in the students' well-being and what's going on in their life.
Very
Those
good.
seem
Yeah. And I think you are already very good at that. But that's something, even when you're already doing something, adding to that piggy bank can just mean doing more of something you're already doing or getting better at something you already do. Good job, Miss Nicole. I love that one. I love that. And that's very true. And that's for all of us instructors. We want our students to have amazing technique and to be their best. So we're constantly like, this is what you can do to improve, do this better, fix this, do this right. And so sometimes it is difficult. It takes a lot of effort as an instructor. Anyone who's been a team leader, even in CIT, knows this. It takes more effort to find the good things and to compliment than it does to correct, because that's our focus. And our priority is to correct, to make sure you're a good martial artist. So even though that's the top priority, we still have to make sure that we're adding to that emotional piggy bank to be able to give those the criticism. Good job, Miss Nicole. Did anybody else do the homework? Miss Beatrice. Beatrice, do you want to share one of yours?
Yes, for one of mine, I put my role as a sister, and then to put one thing to put in the emotional piggy bank, which would be more open, like with talking to her about like what I like, making sure like checking up on her. Really.
Good. That's a really good one for any relationships with our kids, with our parents, with our friends, with our siblings. That's a big one. Taking the time to just listen. He talks about that a lot in the book with his, I think it was either his son or a friend with their son. But just taking the time as parents, we are constantly making withdrawals. We are saying, go clean your room, do this, don't do that. I need you to do this, get your schoolwork done. Those are all, even though they're little, even though we have to do them, they're still technically withdrawals from that emotional piggy bank. Now, as parents, we are constantly adding to that piggy bank. We are making meals for them. We're telling them we love them. We are giving them hugs. We're playing board games with them. We're supporting them in karate class. We're doing all of these things, and those are all adding to that emotional piggy bank. But a big one is taking the time to just communicate. So he talked about in the book, just sitting down with his teenage son. And that's a big one with parents of teenagers is, I remember as a teenager, I have weird memories, like with my mom going to the dentist, because I remember us going to lunch beforehand, going shopping afterwards, our conversations in the car, things like that. And it's just taking the time to one-on-one connect with somebody. So whatever your relationship is, and a sibling is a perfect example of that. I got to spend some time with my sister last night just talking about what's going on in her life. And that's exactly what we both did, is we added to that emotional piggy bank because she listened to me and I listened to her, and that kind of thing. Okay, did anybody else? Last chance, raise your hand if you did the homework. Skylar. All right, last one. Skylar, you want to share one of yours?
Mine is help my cousin take care of her little sister because she's about 3 years old. And this one, my next one is I have 2 of them.
Okay.
Making sure my friends have company. When they're sad, I want to make sure they're happy.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, Skylar. Thank you. Good job. All right, you guys. So, someone tell me what habit number 1 is.
Be proactive.
Be proactive. Good, which means to prioritize. Someone tell me what habit number 2 is.
Begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind, which means envisioning your goal, setting your goal, visualizing your goal, seeing how you want the outcome to be, how you want your life to be in the end, and then in every project or task you do, how you want the result to be. What's habit number 3?
Put first things first.
Put first things. Wait, why did I say that again? I did that yesterday. Being proactive is being responsible and taking initiative. Putting first things first is prioritizing. And habit number 4, you see it right in front of you. What's habit number 4?
Think win-win.
Think win-win.
Think win-win.
Who can tell me what does think win-win mean?
Help other people and yourself.
Yeah, find a solution.
Think to win.
Good. So this is finding a so it's actually, we'll get into it a little bit more, but it's finding a solution where everybody wins. So it's not necessarily compromising, because a lot of times in compromising, both people are losing. Both people are taking something away and losing. Now, not always. You can compromise and find something where you're both winning by a little bit or that kind of thing. And it's not just thinking to win, because usually thinking to win is thinking win-lose, where I win, somebody else loses. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but this is finding a solution to a problem where every party involved wins. And we'll kind of go over some examples of that too. All right, so I've got a quote. That means I want someone to tell me what this means. Give me your interpretation of this. We have committed the golden rule to memory. Let's now commit it to life. Who can tell me what that means to you? What do you think that means? Kinsey.
You can have something, you can know something and have it memorized, but doesn't mean you use it.
Exactly. Good. Who can tell me what the golden rule is? What is the golden rule? Someone
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, who said that?
Danielle.
Good. Thank you, Danielle. Good job. Yes, treat other people the way you want to be treated. Everybody knows that rule, right? Raise your hand if you've heard that before. Everybody knows that. You've got it memorized. You've got it down. Now you have to actually act on it. Treat other people the way you want to be treated is great to know, but that's the first step to recognize we should be doing it. But now we need to actually do it and be proactive and implement it in our lives and in our relationships. Okay, so there are 6 paradigms of human interaction that he talks about in this chapter. And remember, paradigms are just kind of different perspectives. Okay, so there's win-win, which is the main focus of this. There's win-lose. So in win-win, like I said, everyone involved wins. There's a solution where everyone wins. So if you and a friend are deciding, okay, I want to watch a movie and my friend who's here for a sleepover wants to play Monopoly. I don't want to play Monopoly and she doesn't want to watch a movie. So if we compromise and we play Monopoly, that's win-lose. She wins, I lose, right? Now, if we decide, you know what? We both want to go swimming, so let's go do that instead. And we're like, okay, then we both win. All right, lose-win is the opposite of win-lose. So now if we decided to, what did I say I wanted to do? Watch a movie. If we watch a movie, then I win, she loses. Lose-lose, if we say, okay, then we're just not going to do anything because we can't make a decision and we both lose, neither of us get to do what we want to do, that's lose-lose. And then there's just win, where all that I am looking at, I don't care what happens to her, it doesn't matter what happens to anybody else, I'm focusing on myself, I want to win, it doesn't matter what anyone else wants to do. So I say, well, you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to watch my movie. That would be a win. Okay? And then win-win or no deal is thinking win-win, but not being able to compromise or have a discussion about it, right? Okay, so my question is, which one is best? Which one do you guys think is best? It's kind of a trick question.
Win-win.
Win.
Most of the time, and in the situation that I just gave, win-win is the best, but it's not always. So it depends on the situation. What if I am in a karate tournament? Really, which is the best situation if I'm in a karate tournament?
Lose.
No, I don't want to lose if I'm in a karate tournament. Best one in a karate tournament would be win. Because if I'm competing as myself, my focus is for me to win. Doesn't matter what happens to anybody else. I'm focused on me winning. And that's the right one for that situation. Or, if you're competing with somebody if you're in a sparring match, a win-lose situation would be the best one. I need to win. I want her to lose. So it depends on what the situation is. But in a lot of the things that we're talking about where there's kind of a conflict between two people, win-win is usually the best situation. And that's what we're focusing on today. But keep in mind that win-win is not 100% across the board always the best one. So in certain situations, like I said, in a tournament or something like that, you are looking at some of the other paradigms being the best option. Okay. He also talks about 5 different dimensions of win-win. So with that, there are kind of 5 different categories that go into creating a win-win outcome. So first, there's the character. With this, having integrity and maturity are kind of the foundation of having that solid character and being able to come up with a win-win solution. In that example that I gave, 2 kids at a sleepover, and we both want to do different things. You see that with younger kids. Now, if 2 adults are hanging out, that usually isn't an issue, because when they want to do different things, they know how to think win-win. On a situation like that, it's very easy for them because they're mature in that area and they have integrity to that relationship. Now, with kids, a little bit different because the maturity is not there. So most 5-year-olds, I know Tegan, when she is a sleepover, and Marley even more so at 3, they still sometimes are like, well, I want to do this, I want to do this. And there's that kind of, you see that play out until they come up with a win-win solution. But so maturity is part of that. And even at 5 years, I know some 5-year-olds, some of you guys who are very mature for your ages and are able to look past that and be like, you know what, we can do what you want to do and I'll enjoy that or whatever. So integrity and we're going to talk about character a little bit more in the next slide. Okay. Relationships. So having trust is really important to be able to come up with a win-win solution, and having built up that strong emotional bank account. So let's think about that. If you're you and a friend are trying to decide what activity you're going to do, and you guys are mad at each other, or say, I'm mad at my friend, I'm really mad because they've been doing mean thing after mean thing after mean thing after mean thing and depleting that emotional bank account. The emotional bank account's negative. Do I probably want to think win-win with this person? No, now I should be the bigger person than I should anyways. But the point is that emotional bank account is a big factor in being able to think win-win. When the emotional bank accounts are high and both parties are deeply committed, there is tremendous synergy. And I cut that straight out of the book, but I think that's really important. Synergy is actually one of the later habits. We'll talk about it later, but it means working together really well. So when both people, if the sleepovers, seriously, it's such a perfect example of think when all of these. So if I have been doing nice thing after nice thing and giving her the best toys and making sure we're doing what she wants to do, and she's doing the same thing to me, when we get to a point where we're like, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, both of us are like, you know what? I want you to be happy. So it's really easy to think win-win. And that's because that emotional bank account is really high. All right, agreements. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then having structure and systems. So, and this is kind of what more of, so when you're looking at organizations in your school, in your classroom, in your family dynamics, things like that, you've got to have good systems that support win-win. So if in the classroom, could you guys imagine in school, if grades were based off of who did the best? Whoever in the class does the very best is going to get an A. The next 10 people are going to get a B. The next 10 people are going to get a C. Could you guys imagine that? That would be horrible, because it would be based off of a win-lose situation. Whoever does the best wins, whoever does the worst loses. That's not how grades are structured. It's structured so everybody who does well wins, win-win, right? So, so that is making conducive environment for a win-win situation. And that's just an example. It can be set up everywhere. In a job, if there are goals set where one person wins and one person loses, doesn't support a win-win situation. Okay, but having different rewards, different benefits, things like that to support win-win are very important. And then the process. So this is kind of the way you go about doing it. And again, it's in organizations and in companies and in schools, in any group dynamics. If there are certain policies in place that you have to follow that are focused on win-lose goals, then it's nearly impossible to achieve a win-win goal if you're having to take win-lose steps to get there, right? Okay, so these are kind of a little way to show how the 5 dimensions relate to each other. So you've got win-win with character, and then that goes on to relationships, then it goes on to agreements, and then supportive systems and processes are kind of down here alongside all 3 of those. So you kind of go from the character to the relationship to the agreement, and like I said, the system and the processes are with you along the whole way. Okay, guys, don't write on the board. It makes me have to do this, like to take the time to stop, clear it, waste everybody's time. Okay. All right. Think win-win. So a couple, these are the 5 elements that I said I was going to mention. Desired results. So identify what is to be done. Okay. So basically the 5 elements of think win-win. So the 5 kind of things that need to happen, the 5 categories that go into coming up with a win-win solution. You have to know the desired results. So identify what we have to do and when we have to do it. Think of a group project at school for that, right? Or at that sleepover, what we want to do and when we want to do it. Well, I want to do this, you want to do this, and we both want to do it right now. Okay, but deciding what the desired results are, coming up with guidelines. So school project is a good example of this. Specify parameters within which results are to be accomplished. So if anyone's ever worked in a group project, if you don't know specifically what you're supposed to be doing, if the teacher didn't give you guidelines, or if you guys as a group didn't decide, you're going to do this part, I'm going to do this part, she's going to do this part, he's going to do this part, makes it very difficult. Okay, having resources. So identify the human, financial, technical, or organizational support available to help accomplish the results. Accountability. Set up standards of performance and the time of evaluation, and then consequences. So specify, good or bad, what the natural and logical consequences will be. So what does and what will happen as a result of whatever the outcome is. All right, guys. So let me see how much further we have in this, because we are at 12. Oh, good, we finished it. Okay, so your application for over the weekend. I want you guys to write down, this is a really easy one. You guys literally could do this in 1 minute right now if you take the time to do it. Write down one situation where it would be important for you to have a win-win agreement. Now, after you write down what the situation is, so for me, what I just talked about was a sleepover, right? Sleepover with my friend. Now, put yourself in the other person's shoes. Write down how they might see the situation. So for me, I would say, sleepover with my friend Kelly. She wants to go swimming. I want to watch a movie, right? Now I'm going to put myself in her shoes and see how they might feel. Well, she's at my house. This is the first time she's been over here. Maybe she already watched a movie and she doesn't have a pool, so she's really excited to go swimming. I can see why she wants to do that, right? So write down their perspective of the situation. And then I want you to list a possible win-win solution. So 3 sentences. Write down what the situation that you want a win-win solution. Put yourself in the other shoes. Write down how the other person probably feels, and then write down a possible win-win solution. Any questions about that assignment?
No, ma'am.
Super easy. So my goal for you guys is to be proactive. And while you're already sitting down with your paper taking some notes, go ahead and do it right now. That way you have it done and don't have to think about it over the weekend. And I will see everybody. Well, I'll see you guys all in the Golds meeting tomorrow at 5:45. And then we'll talk about this application on Monday, okay? Bye, everybody.
Miss Rachel.
Bye.
Wait. No one really comes over now.
Okay, you can come up with any situation, Skylar, okay? But I do have to go, my dear. If you have any other questions, you can call the studio and I can answer it for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll see you later, Skylar. Bye, everybody.
I can ask on the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.